tell us about how it's impacted you,
Mm.
and then maybe you could share some stories.
Yeah. Um, this feels like a weird way of starting to talk about how it impacted me, but I really loved it. I actually worked part-time at a homeless shelter for 3 years before, my ordination serving at this church. And so I think in a way it felt a little bit like coming home. Like, these are my people and this is my thing. Except it was sort of better than that because it was also in a church. And, I would go downstairs and I'm in a homeless shelter, and I go upstairs and I'm with some of our volunteers, except it's not really that divided. These people were up and down all the time. And just the melding and mixing of those spaces, was really special, I think, vocationally to me, to be a part of that and to get to hear and talk to our volunteers and hear their experiences of volunteering and the people they met and the things that impacted them. And then also talk to our guests and the things that stood out to them, the things that they liked or that they noticed. Um, Something that I guess was especially impactful in terms of stories was just getting to be present with our guests, especially moments of pastoral care. I got to have a number of conversations with guests, a lot of times because I was a pastor and specifically a woman pastor. And some of the women in particular were like, I'd love to talk to you. And they wanted to tell me their story. And then we would pray and have these conversations. And that was just such a gift to get to be present with them. And sometimes it happened very organically. Santa visited the Warming Center, as
Oh,
you may know.
I didn't know Santa visited.
Santa did visit, our Santa specifically, if you know who I mean. And and that was lovely, and, he brought candy canes and talked to folks. Some folks wanted pictures with him, and I was kind of just wandering around while he was, and I started to talk to this man after Santa had visited him, and he made a comment to me. He's like, "Oh, seeing Santa makes me miss my kids."
Oh,
And so then we talked about his kids and their names, and then we said a prayer together where we prayed for them, that they would know how loved they are even though he's not with them. And just getting to be present, it was just such a human moment, right? To miss your children is such a fundamental human emotion.
right.
And to get to be present in that space as he was, opening up and thinking about these things and to pray with him was really special.
And did he come back? Was he here for the whole 2-week period?
I believe so. Most of our guests were here every day.
Yeah, that was, the thing that was I heard from other volunteers is that they felt like they got to know, yeah, some of the guests. That was really special.
Yeah. And I think that surprised a lot of folks from First Pres. I think when we did the planning, so much effort was put until we have to keep the warming center separate from the rest of the church. But then once it started, everyone just wanted to get closer.
Yeah.
Which I think most folks, myself included, did not see coming. But that was, I think, by and large, what we saw was that it wasn't that we were trying to reinforce the boundaries so much as volunteers wanted to cross the boundaries. Um,
So, do you have other
I
stories
do
that
have other stories. Thank you for asking, Jane. One story kind of related to that maybe you heard from Pat, is that one of our guests, who I had talked to and prayed with before, ended up going to the hospital in an ambulance one day because she was having trouble breathing. And so we were very worried about her and prayed for her. And then the next day, I'm standing in the hallway with Pat, and this guest walked in, and she's feeling so much better, and they gave her some medicine and got her hydrated again. And, the shelter association staff and our volunteer meetings, we talked about, it's really important you never touch someone without permission. Like, you never initiate any contact because you don't know what they're comfortable with or what's going to be triggering for them, especially with women who may have a lot of trauma from past physical assault experiences. But Pat standing there just sort of opens up her arms in a gesture of, "We're so glad to see you." And the guest walks over and just gives Pat a hug. And just that guest felt like she was being welcomed and celebrated, that we were so glad she was feeling better, and that she wanted to hug Pat, who has been such a friend to all of our guests, was just really special to witness.